so this video is all about The Lion and Albert by Marriott Edgar, and it's just some ideas of things you can do with this particular poem or story. It's a narrative poem, but it's quite a funny one, and it's quite an old-fashioned one as well. So the first thing to think about are some of the words that you might have been struggling with. Okay, so one or two words and ideas that you might need to think about, to look at. So let me just get my words handy. Here we go. So first of all, you might be interested or thinking what some of these are. First of all, what is a stick with an horse's head handle? Well, if you've heard of a hobby horse, they're like a stick and it's got a horse's head on the top of it, and you'd put it between your legs and you'd ride around on it. So that's what that is. Okay. Words like ferocious, that's a word you can look up in the dictionary, isn't it? So ferocious would be a good word to look up. A mishap, yeah? Try and find out what that word means, a mishap. Got a word that Mother uses called vexed. She feels, oh, I'm so vexed. I reckon the way I say it there might give you an idea of how she's feeling. Someone's got to be summonsed. Yeah, so summonsed, get somebody to come to you. Someone's got to be sent for. Okay. The magistrate, somebody who runs the court. Yeah. And then we've got that other phrase as well to describe how Wallace was lying in his cage in a somnolent posture. Yeah, posture is kind of how you're sitting or how you're lying. Somnolent means he's very sleepy. Okay, so there's a couple of words there for you to look up, and a few words there for you to have a go at trying to work out how you can maybe use them in perhaps some of your text, but also help you to understand the poem. Okay, so I've got some other bits here. So first of all, some ideas. So first of all, for those people who can access it, you can actually look for the poem online, but have a look at it on our class web pages if you like. And you can practice saying the poem aloud. You could even try using a bit of a northern accent as well to perform it maybe then to your family. That would be quite a nice idea. So actually have a go at saying some of those. You might even be able to learn it. I managed to say a bit of it, which I know quite well, but some bits I haven't learnt, and it'd be quite nice if I had actually. But maybe you could learn the whole thing. That'd be quite a challenge, wouldn't it? So, other things you could do. Again, there's a template on our class pages, but if you're not involved in looking on our class pages, then you can use it without. What you could do is write a postcard home. So imagine that you're, say, Mr. or Mrs. Ramsbottom, and you're writing back at the hotel, back in your lodgings, and writing a letter home or a postcard home to explain what's happened, what's gone off on your holidays. Yeah. So you could write the reply on the postcard as well. So somebody, one of your family members, could write a reply to that. I know you don't normally reply to postcards, but it might be quite interesting. Now the thing that you could do with this though, to make it even better, is to try and use the humour that's in the actual story itself. So try and write about the things that happened in the story. But it's clever, this poem, in that something really horrific has happened to poor Albert. You know, the child's been eaten by a lion, and yet they seem not quite relaxed about it, but it's funny because of the way in which the story unfolds. You'd expect them to be shock and horror, and the fact that the zookeeper wants to give him a bit of money to keep quiet about it. All these sort of things, and also the fact that the father is seems quite happy to actually accept a bit of cash, and the fact he's lost his son. See, so it's a little bit of this strange kind of humour that's in there. Okay, so anyway, see if you can write a postcard. That'd be good. Another idea that you could have would be to maybe imagine you're Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom again, and writing something else. You could write a letter of complaint to the zoo. Don't forget, try and use that kind of 5-part structure to your letter of complaint. Okay, so you start off with an introduction, give you reason for writing your letter of complaint to the zoo, and then I'd start then structuring it in the way that you've got. So the first complaint, to explain something that happened. Another complaint after that, maybe in the second paragraph. Maybe mix a couple of complaints within the same paragraph. Okay. Then the third part would be that other extra complaint. And then after that, your fourth part will be maybe some suggestions perhaps that you could give for the thing that the zoo could do to improve the standards of it, so that other children don't get eaten by lions. And then finally, your conclusion would be, what would you be asking or requesting the zoo to do so that whatever they do can satisfy you Yeah. So what kind of thing that you would be asking the zoo to do to make it all seem far better, going forward? Okay. Another thing that you could do, quite simply, if you got a hold of the poem, again, you could put the verses around there. You could illustrate it. If you fancy doing a little bit of artwork, that would work quite nicely. Other things a little bit more general. So maybe you could find out a little bit about the history of Blackpool as a seaside place. Blackpool's a really popular seaside place for people to go to, and this poem, which was written a long, long time ago, you could actually find out about what was the seaside like in Blackpool in years gone by. What did people do for amusement and entertainment at the seaside then? And maybe draw some pictures, create some kind of fact file, maybe do a booklet or a leaflet all about holidaying Blackpool back in, say, the 1950s or even earlier than that. Another thing that you could do, just finally, is maybe find out a little bit about Marriott Edgar, who is the actual poet and narrator, who also wrote a number of different poems as well, and a few more about Albert actually. So that might be quite a nice idea, just to find out a little bit more about him. And also there's a famous person who is known for actually saying this poem, and his name is Stanley Holloway. So maybe you could find out a little bit about him. Him and Marriott Edgar used to tour together and do these kind of poems and things between them. Okay, so there's some ideas that you could use then when you're perhaps thinking about how to go about using that poem, using that narrative poem for something to amuse yourself with during this time that we're off, or at any other time for that matter. Anyway, hope you enjoy that, and you take care, and good luck with working with The Lionel and Albert by Marriott Edgar.